It's Jeremy from Sales God CRM. In this video, I want to cover what to do when your text message marketing list is not converting. So what do I mean by that? By not converting, I mean that you're not generating leads and you're not generating any conversations with people who are interested in the services and solutions that you have to offer. So the first thing that you want to do is check your stats. So in Sales God CRM on the dashboard, you have your stats right here, and you could clearly see how many messages that you have going out per day, along with how many incoming messages that you're getting. Now, if you're not getting a 10% response rate with Sales God CRM, something is clearly wrong. Now, it has to be a 10% response rate because that's what's most common on our software platform across the board. That means that if you're sending at least 1,500 messages a day, you should be getting back 150 replies back in response to those messages. And out of those 150 replies, you should be generating at least five appointments per day, or five prospects per day, people who are interested in the service or the solution that you have to offer. That's important, guys. You really want to make sure that you know your metrics. And if you're not getting anything back from it, then we got to take a step further and try to find out what's going on and how we can help you to fix it. Now, another thing that you want to do is you want to look at your message. Now, if you've been sending the same message for 24 hours, it's not getting any results or getting very few results back, you want to take a look at it because maybe it's the message that needs to be changed up. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's an example of a message that I consider to be a good message. The message should mention your first name in the message and the company that you're with, so that the lead knows exactly who you are and what you do. Also, the message should also include the spin token for first name, so that when the prospect, when they see the message on their phone, they see that it's addressed to them. Because if a message is generic and it doesn't mention the prospect's name, then they have no reason to click on it and open it. But if they open the message and they see their name in there and even their street address, that's going to be more of a motivation for them to open the message and find out what it's about. Now, this is what I would consider to be a good message because, for starters, it says that you're following up. Following up, you can also write it like I'm checking back in, or checking in again. You want to make it sound like you've spoken with them before, like you're just following up on a previous conversation, because it doesn't look like it's spam. And then also, like I mentioned, if you have a service-based business, you want to include the token code in there for the street address, so that when the prospect, when they see the message come on their phone, they see their name mentioned and also their street address. And then, like for example, if you're selling insurance, you want to make it clear what you could do for them. You could help them. How can you help them? I can help you get an affordable rate. Or like for example, if you sell solar, you want to tell them I can help you save money off your energy costs. Or if you're a roofer, you want to tell them, I can help you to save money this summer off your energy costs with a new roof. Contact me to learn more. It's more affordable than you think. So that's a good example of a good message. Now, an example of a bad message is right here. Where you say, it's Jake. Are you still looking for the best homeowners insurance? Click here and then put the link. This is a crappy message because of one simple reason. Number one, it's very non-specific. It doesn't mention the prospect's name in there. There's no code. So when they see that, when the prospect opens the message up, they know exactly that it's spam. And then secondly, they see the link in there, and that's also something that they know is spam as well too, because these messages don't convert. If they do convert, they're only going to, meaning that they're generating a response for you, it's only going to be temporary. Because guys, most carriers these days, they block messages all day that have links in them. What the carrier is looking for is they want to see that you have the prospect replying yes, and then you send them a link, to your website or whatever the offer is. And with Sales Guide, you can incorporate the autoresponder to do that. But back to the original point, you want to make sure that your message is specific. You specifically want to tell them who you are and how you can help them. Generic messages don't convert as well as specific messages. Like for example, back in the day, real estate wholesalers used to ask, are you still at 123 Main Street? And that may have worked 3 or 4 years ago, but it's not going to work today. Make it more specific and really show that you're a real person who could help them and not just another marketer who's trying to generate a lead. So now, let's say that it comes time for you to purchase a new list. Guys, I recommend that if you're doing text message marketing full time, that you invest in a new list, at least every couple of months, if not once a month, because you always want to make sure that you have fresh quality data that you're importing into your account with Sales God CRM or whatever other platforms that you're currently using. Now, don't forget that with a list, you could send more than one message to a list. You want to send at least maybe 2 or 3 follow-up messages to that list so that you get the most value out of it. Because the average person's not going to respond, not always going to respond to that first message that you send them. They're going to need to see multiple follow-up messages, from you before they respond. That's how you get value from it. Now, when it comes time to purchase a new list, don't always go back to the same lead generation company that you purchased leads from before, especially if you're working on a team or in an organization that has multiple reps and they're all going to the same place. That's not what you want. You want to go to multiple different lead generation providers. Just go to Google and start researching it, or reply to this video and ask me, and I can refer you to my lead generation providers. Or when you get started with Sales God, we'll refer you to our partners, our lead generation partners, people that we work with and trust to provide quality data. But if you're going to be looking for a lead generation partner or a provider yourself, you want to make sure that you do your due diligence. You always want to make sure that you look for feedback from their happy customers online. So before you purchase a list, just Google their business name. Look for their actual Google My Business name page and see if there's feedback from their customers on there. Because if you're not seeing feedback from them from actual customers online, that should be a red flag for you. Now, if you don't find feedback, check in forums like Reddit, for example, or go on Facebook, look on Facebook groups, try to find feedback for the company on there before you spend money, because you want to see that they offer data that will actually convert and provide you with the return on investment that you need. So, and then also next, you want to make sure that the cost per lead makes sense. For example, you don't want to be paying $4 or $5 per lead. That's just a waste of money. You do what you got to do, guys. But obviously, if you're buying lists where you're spending $4 to $5 per lead every month, you're spending a lot of money. Ideally, at the very most, you should be spending no more than $1 per record. If you're an insurance agent, you're buying age leads. Obviously, if you buy a higher quantity of age leads, you should be spending no more than, let's say, 30 to 40 cents per record. And then also, if you work with Sales God, we could refer you to our lead generation partners that could get you, B2B and B2C leads for as low as 2 cents per record. So contact me if you'd like to learn more about that. So, and then like I said, as you start connecting with multiple lead generation providers, you want to make sure that you create a list of them and rotate your purchases, between your various lead generation providers. Meaning, don't go with the same guy every single month. Try multiple companies, and then just make sure that you track the results from those lists internally, so that okay, this list got me 4 or 5 sales. The list before that got me 1 sale, because that's going to get you the real results, so that you know that it's paying off for you. And then also, before you purchase a list from a new lead generation provider, you want to make sure, can they scrub your leads for people on the DNC list? And then also, can they scrub for litigators as well? If they could do that as part of the package, then have them do it, because you want to get that done. That's a huge thing to get done in text message marketing. Is before you upload the list, you want to make sure that it's scrubbed. Now, if you can't scrub it with the lead generation company that you purchase lists from, then you could scrub your lists in Sales God CRM. That's actually a feature that we offer now. So now, if you have an account with us, all you have to do is bottom left-hand corner, right there, click on Scrubber, and then you have the landline scrubber, and then also the TCPA scrubber. So the landline scrubber, guys, what it'll do is it's going to remove all landlines from your list. People who have traditional corded phones, things like that. You want to make sure that you get all those numbers off your list, because obviously a landline or a traditional corded phone can't receive a text message, and so you want to make sure that you scrub it in advance. Now, in Sales God, we charge 0.002 cents per record. So if you upload, let's say 5 or 10,000 records, you're going to be paying probably $3 or $4 to get your list scrubbed, with us. Now, once you scrub it, you're going to import that list directly into your account, and then you're going to connect that list to your text strip. So, and that's super, super easy to do. And so just keep that in mind. Simple. You scrub it, you import it, and then you can start using it in Sales Guide. Now, if you want to scrub for litigators, same deal. You click on Scrubber on the left, TCPA Scrubber. Now you have multiple options here. So if you click on Scrub, you'll see that you have TCPA, TCPA Troll, Federal DNC, DNC Complainers, and State DNC. All you really need to do at the very least is click on this option here. We charge 0.0015 cents per record. So once again, the higher quantity list, if it's like 10,000 records, it might cost you $10. But guys, what's the hassle when it comes to paying $10 to get your list scrubbed versus facing a potential litigation from a pesky litigator who wants to go after you for text message marketing? It's just best to do it in advance. And then so same principle as the landline scrubber, you'll scrub your list for people on DNC here, and then once it's done, then you're going to import that list directly into your account and connect it to your text strip so that you can start using it. So simple, easy to use, and just really, really efficient. So, and then last but not least, a final word on purchasing lists. Once you find a good lead generation provider, you don't always want to share that same person with other agents or other people in your office or your team, because good quality data is hard to find. And like I said, you just want to make sure that you're checking your stats, make sure that you're monitoring your analytics and you're getting a good conversion, good results, good return on investment from that list, because that's what's going to lead to your long-term success with text message marketing, regardless if you do it with Sales Guide or another provider. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Sales Guide CRM, give me a call today. My number is 417-372-7811. You'll find my contact information in the description for this video. And most importantly, if you have questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video, like and share it if you found value on it. And happy hunting with your text message marketing. Have a great day.